Have you ever been in a situation where you ended up wanting to buy something that you couldn't actually afford and then turned to your credit card to cover the purchase? If you answered yes, did it lead you to a point where you felt like you lost control of your shopping behavior and continued in a pattern of spending more than you could actually afford? If the answer is again yes, this book review is for you because you will learn how to break free from consumerism and its vicious cycle. Here is the book summary of The Year of Less by Cait Flanders. Cait Flanders found herself stuck in the consumerism cycle that grips so many of us. Earn more, buy more, want more, rinse, repeat. Even after she worked her way out of nearly $30,000 of consumer debt, her old habits took hold again. When she realized that nothing she was doing or buying was making her happy, only keeping her from meeting her goals, she decided to set herself a challenge. She would not shop for an entire year. The Year of Less documents Cait's life for 12 months, during which she bought only consumables, like groceries, toiletries, and gas for her car. Along the way, she challenged herself to consume even less of many other things. Besides shopping, she decluttered her apartment and got rid of 70% of her belongings. She learned how to fix things rather than throw them away. She even researched the zero waste movement and completed a television ban. At every stage, she learned that the less she consumed, the more fulfilled she felt. Caitlin found herself in situations that turned her life upside down. In the face of these hardships, she realized why she had always turned to shopping, alcohol, and food, and what it had cost her. Unable to reach for her usual vices, she changed habits she spent years perfecting, and discovered what truly mattered most. I can say that her personal story led me to look within and discover what I was holding on to in my own life and reevaluate why I was holding on to certain things. So in many ways, I think this book will lead you to find your own path of happiness and your own path of less. Now, I will mention some cons that I found in the book. The author mentions that personal finance is personal, but I think this is somewhat contradictory, and here's why. The author was able to take herself out of $30,000 of consumer debt when she kept her personal finances personal. Then, what happened was her old habits took hold of her again and negatively affected her finances. It wasn't until she decided to publish her intentions to the world on her blog about her shopping ban that she was then able to experience lasting financial success. The reason why I became a financial counselor and financial coach is because a lot of people have financial goals that they may be able to achieve by themselves. But if the behavior and mindset is not addressed, a person will find themselves in a similar financial situation as they did to begin with. The good news is that people can turn to financial coaches to enhance their financial performance as well as their financial behavior. Another area I disagreed with the author about was when she recommended that people can replace costly habits with free or cheap alternatives. In my opinion, the author fails to consider the opportunity cost when making this suggestion. For example, just because something is cheaper does not mean it is better than something that is more expensive. At the same time, just because an activity may appear free does not mean that it is truly free. For example, what is the cost of what's being given up in order to experience the free activity? So, in my view, using the opportunity cost evaluation to determine which habits to replace is more comprehensive than simply looking at the cost alone. Now I'm going to talk about some pros that I really enjoyed from the book. So, I liked when Cait did her decluttering because it brought a sense of freedom to me. This was a key area in the book because it motivated me to do my own decluttering. And what I found was that for a significant period of time, I would buy things for the sake of buying them. At one point in life, I thought that the more things I bought, the happier I would be. But when I decluttered, I realized that many things that I bought, I hardly ever used. This helped me to realize that seeking happiness in things was something that I was never able to achieve. And based on my own experiences, I'm not sure it's even possible. I also enjoyed how the author brings society into question. In the book, the author asks why do we each encourage each other to spend money when we should all be saving more? I think the reason why as a society we encourage each other to spend is because we are heavily influenced by capitalism. And as a result, people have bought into the notion that the more things they can buy, the happier they will become, and the more successful they will appear. The problem is there's a critical difference between looking rich and actually being rich. Spending on assets is a great idea, but spending your money on what you believe to be an asset when it's actually a liability will only keep you poor or in the middle class. At the same time, saving is no good if you have the money sitting in an account that is paying you little to nothing in interest, because inflation can eat away at your ROI. So just because you're saving doesn't mean that it's sufficient to make you rich. And that is why I became an accredited financial counselor and financial coach, so I can help people trying to do the right thing with their money enhance their financial performance. Another aspect of the book that I liked was how the author breaks down the formula for being able to save more money. It starts with our mindset. If you want more stuff, then you need more money. If you want less, you need less. This gives you the ability to save and invest more because less of your money will go towards your wants. An important thing to note is that even though the author lived on less, this gave her more savings, more time with loved ones, and taught her more lessons. For this reason, even though living on less may seem restrictive, the author's story highlights that less is more. I also liked how the author highlights that you don't know what you need until you live without it. This was very important for me because we live in a world filled with advertisements and marketing campaigns that make you believe you need to buy things now. But when you intentionally live without certain products, it helps you avoid buying things you don't need. But sometimes we can know that we don't need something and still end up buying it. So paying attention to shopping triggers is something the author reminds us to do. The author suggests that if she's going to make an impulse buy, to transfer the money instead to her savings account. I think this is a good suggestion, but can be challenging. I would recommend developing the habit of waiting 24 hours before you purchase a product or service. That way, you give yourself some time to think it over. In these instances, I would also recommend using the opportunity cost analysis to determine if it is the best decision for you. So now, I'm going to give you a bit of an overview about how I felt about the book. Overall, I felt that this book did a great job of making me more conscientious of not making mindless spending decisions. But it also did something even greater than that. It confirmed a core belief of mine when it comes to finances, which is never spend more than you make. And it helped me take this even further. If you want less, then you spend less, which means your savings will increase. What is interesting with Cait's journey is that as she tossed more of her belongings, her savings percentage increased. This goes to show that if people stop consuming things they do not need, then they will end up in a better financial position. Think of it this way. If a family has an old minivan that works fine and is paid off, but they see other neighbors around them buying newer family vehicles, so they decide to upgrade their vehicle. Now, what happens is every month, $800 is going toward a car payment. So they would have to continue to work to ensure that they can continue to make payments on the family vehicle. So it does not get repossessed. This is a simple example that shows how material things can keep us trapped in the rat race. Imagine if instead the family decided to keep their old family vehicle because it worked perfectly fine, and instead chose to invest the $800 per month, earning 10% interest that would equal $61,949.65 after 5 years, enough to put kids through college, pay down more of your mortgage, or take a trip without having to fund it with credit. Thanks to this book, every financial decision I make, I use the opportunity cost analysis to evaluate my decisions every single time I spend, which keeps me mindful in my spending. Recommendations. I would recommend this book for anyone who is stuck in the vicious cycle of consumerism. I also would recommend this book to anyone who has difficulty being honest with themselves. I think This book helps with being more self-aware because the author shows through her own personal story that everyone has problems, and the only way to deal with them is first to be honest with ourselves, no matter how much we don't want to be. I would also recommend this book to those who have difficulties sticking to the goals you set for yourself. This book reveals that anything is possible if you make it a priority. And in addition, every small change you make leads to other bigger changes. For example, the author went from creating a shopping ban, change number 1, to learning how to make her own shampoo and conditioner, cleaning products, candles, and planting her own garden, change number 2. Therefore, just like money grows through compound interest, so too does change. Now, my favorite part of this book review, the MTC rating. I'm gonna give The Year of Less an MTC rating of 5. That's right, I'm gonna give it a 5. Because anytime a book can inspire you to improve your life in a positive way, it's a special book. I'm a bookworm, so I read my fair share of books to realize that some books profess to change your life by telling you things that you should do in order to achieve the life you want. In my view, the reason why some of these books actually fail to inspire you to apply the lessons is because they rely on statistics and facts or famous people to encourage you to apply the techniques from the book. What makes this book special is the author doesn't tell you to do what she does. Instead, she opens up her life for us in a transparent way and allows us to look at her financial journey for what it was with all the ups and downs. This is powerful because anyone who reads the book will know exactly where she started from and where she arrived as a result of the Year of Less. And it will inspire you to find your own path of less like it did for me. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Money Time Coaching channel below. And most importantly, don't forget to hit that notification bell. So that way, every single time I release a video, you'll be notified and you won't miss any of this helpful content going forward. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say in the comment section below. So I'll be paying attention to the comments. I'll see you in my next one.
Subscribe now.